All right, guys, we are recording. Graded a lot of your assignments. I got 2 assignments behind. I'll be grading one of them this week and then almost caught up. So a few check your grades, everything. Few reminders. So we are currently on week 11. So week 12, this next week is exam 2. So make sure you're studying for that. The exam is going to be similar to exam 1, but it's comprehensive. So anything from the beginning of the semester until basically what we cover on Wednesday will be on the exam. The exam is closed notes, but you're allowed your cheat sheet. You can write whatever you want. Yeah. Yeah, it's similar format. So there could be, scripting problems. Could be like create some accounts with Python, some user accounts on Linux. Could be like firewall related. So remember the firewall, I can do a lot there, right? That can be tricky. So I'm not going to try to trick you, but I want you to have some understanding. Right? Yeah, go ahead. As accurate as possible, right? So, you see it. The syntax you mean of code? Are you talking about? At the end of the day, I'm just looking, you can't memorize everything in Linux, but I'm just looking for that you kind of understand the logic of Linux. You know what I mean? That you have a sense of how things work. Do you see that? So I use my judgment when I'm reading, and it's based on your peers. So I look at all the exams and I kind of see where everyone is. Make sense? All right. Yeah, so those are the important reminders. We're on week 11. This week we're discussing a new topic called Hadoop. This is a really important topic, as I've mentioned. This is part of your project A, right? At the end of the semester. We've talked about this already, but I'll repeat it today, what I mean by that. So today I'll go over the logic of what Hadoop is. So essentially, it's cluster computing, right? So that's kind of a very basic 1 week introduction to the topic of cluster computing with Linux, essentially, right? And then we'll do a lab for this, a simple lab. And the lab is exactly what you guys have to do, but in Hadoop when you do the project at the end of the semester. So it'll make more sense and I'll motivate what that's about. It's really meant to be like if you can solve Hadoop, you'll probably solve any Linux problem. You know what I mean? Like you should have confidence that you get Linux. Does that make sense? So it's a lot of it is configuration, installing a program, but it's definitely harder than the DNS lab, right? And you're using at least 2 VMs for this. That's why we spent so much time with the firewall and DNS trying to get that up and running. Make sense? All right. You can do the Hadoop the projects, term projects at the end of the semester, A and B, in groups of 3. So that's okay. Yeah, so just a reminders, we're almost at the end of the semester. When I look at week 11, I know I have about 4 weeks left to go of topics to discuss. So I'll just go over with you guys. So week 11, we're covering Hadoop. Week 12, we're doing exam 2 that Monday. And then the Wednesday, we're just probably going to do Bash, which is another type of scripting instead of Python, the Bash scripting. So I'll just do a whole bunch of Bash scripting problems right after the exam. So that's week 12. Week 13 will be SNMP, which is a protocol that's pretty important for system administration, management, and we're going to look at that in Linux. So we'll cover that topic. It's an easy topic, actually, but it's an important one. And that's week 13. And then that just leaves us week 14, which I haven't decided on the topic yet. It'll be like a special topic, but there's things like Docker and Git and things like that. So there's plenty of material to cover. Remember that this class at the end of the day is because you will get a lot of Linux classes in the future using the CVM. So you gotta be familiar with that. Set UID is another topic that I haven't covered yet. Tricky one, but I think you'll be prepared for it. Should be like a 1-day lecture and you'll get the basic idea. Also related to access control. All right. Anyway, so that's kind of the administrative things that I wanted to cover. As I said, check your grades, and don't forget the exam a week from today. All right. So let's go to the table. I'll read through them. There's also a whole bunch of Wireshark labs. I've been very bad about that. I'll remind me actually to assign a Wireshark reading this week. Okay. In fact, do a Wireshark reading. I'll do that right now. So these are easy labs, but there's about 3 of them. So here it is, Wireshark readings. I kind of had it actually in the right place. So think about that. So this week, I do homework is easy, right? So this homework that I'm doing this week is actually pretty straightforward, not difficult, and we'll probably do it in class. But submit a lab, and also I'm going to give you the first Wireshark reading assignment. Okay, so what that means is, you know, get it here. All you have to do is I provide this zip file full of PCAP files. PCAP files are essentially would go on Wireshark, do things and collect and save them as PCAP files. So I also provide the PDF, right? So a PDF tutorial kind of a thing. These are essentially reading assignments. They don't even have problems. What I want you to do, I trust you guys that you're going to do the work, is just create a 1-page summary of this work. Like kind of, because I can't read a 15-page thing, but a 1-page I can read, and I kind of get the gist of what you guys did. You can put in even like little screenshots in there. Just keep it brief. But essentially, the point of these labs, there's about 3 of them, is to become more familiar with Wireshark as a tool that you will need later on, okay? And essentially, the first one just introduces a lot of functionality in Wireshark, various reporting tools, things like that. So that's what this is about. So what you will do is, you'll see chapter 5 in the text, and it'll say which PCAP files you need. Go to this file, grab those PCAP files, load them on Wireshark, read the material. And then as you're reading the material, it'll say now click here, click there, and then it'll show you things about the PCAP file. Make sense? That's all you have to do. There's no problems associated with it. And so you go through it, but it'll show you, how it works, essentially. And then after that, future Wireshark ones have cases like why is the network slow? And there's some kind of a thing or a security thing related to a printer or Facebook or something like that. Okay. So essentially though, the goal is to get a better understanding of Wireshark. And this is purely GUI. I do recommend, however, that you use the Wireshark on the seed VM, given that in future courses, you will be using Wireshark a lot for your cybersecurity problems, etc. Right? So this just gives you a basic idea of that. Right. So yeah. So this week I'm going to assign this one. So wherever you see these checks and everything, when I read it, I just kind of highlighted that that's important. And then, as I said, you will do a 1-page summary. Okay. So that's the document, the PDF. Right. Let's go over here, and I believe I usually in a separate file just provide the description of the work. I'll just copy paste this. Yeah, so read the attached Wireshark PDF, follow the instructions, and analyze the corresponding PCAP files. Please submit a 1-page summary of your reading. Is that clear enough, guys? Make sense? All right, I will create this link already so you can start working on it. This will be due a week from Wednesday. Create. Yes. Yeah, next Monday is the task. All right, so new assignment. Wireshark. Homework. One. So today is the 24th. It'll be due on the 2nd of April. There's the same text that I always just copy. A one-page summary, as I said. So it is open now, and it'll stay open until the 5th. All right, so that homework assignment has been given. These are easy points. They're worth the same as any other homework. Make sure you complete them. Yeah, like I said, there will be about 3 of them. All right, so that's done. Great. Right, so we've done all this bar chart being one. Yep. You can see I have some of the Wireshark, Anaconda, Docker. Oh, the file system analysis. This is a bonus lab for anyone that missed the lab. I'll cover this topic and you can do it at the very end of the semester. Anyway, so we are currently here, Hadoop. The last two big topics of the semester, essentially. There's a lot of topics in Linux. I can't stress enough, right? So there's a lot of topics. I might do some play with email towards the end of the semester. But actually, this brings up a good segue to the project. So remember, in this course, there are two projects. So projects and surveys. There's project. Yeah. So project detail probably. Yeah. Yeah. Methods. A and B. Yeah, there we are. So that's the project. Okay, so this you have about 4 weeks. I suggest that you make this a priority. The term, because this is a 300, my 300 level classes usually don't have big projects, kind of small type projects are worth about 10% of your grade. And as you notice, everything is labs essentially. So that 10% of your grade, actually I divide into part A and part B. Part A is a fixed project that everyone has to solve. It has Hadoop, the topic that we're discussing today. I selected what I consider to be a difficult thing, somewhat difficult for your level, of a service to install on Linux, essentially. To make it more interesting, I want I want you to get two machines involved. So again, as you'll see today, this is cluster computing. We have courses on cluster computing. Professor Kim teaches for 70. I highly recommend that course. It's about cluster computing. This is a one-week introduction to the main ideas, but this is consistent. So what is cluster computing? It's, you guys hear about AI, data science, all that stuff. Right? And so essentially, that is using powerful computers solve problems, right? And so they were going to look at one example. That essentially, these computers are powerful because they provide parallel computing. So we're going to learn how to code different. So that's one of the big ideas in this week's lecture is that actually you're going to see like a different way of thinking when you code in Python, not for sequential CPU style for user or computers that are parallel. So that's what I will motivate in the lecture. So essentially, then I want you to. There's a tool called Linux that allows you to have Linux. You have to configure at least two VMs to be a cluster computer. And the thing is, no, you have to configure them, then you have to run a job on them. And the job you're going to run is the job that I'm going to do. I can do the job easily on a CPU machine, and then so I'm going to know that and show you how it works. And then you're just going to repeat the exact same thing on your cluster. Obviously, you have to configure your cluster before you do it. And that's the challenge. Yeah. potentially. So I always do this project. I think it's difficult enough. Uh, so here we are, project A and project B. So in project A, and again, you can do both of these groups. Usually students choose the same group for both. So that's fine. You do group of two or three. I recommend you do two, no more than three. Uh, in your group, select a service or application related to system administration and configure it on your Linux system. Show them of your topic while running Linux. Please confirm with me about your topic before. So this is an example of this. I said there's so many services running Linux. So students in the past have done like VPN, they've done email server, gaming server, uh, somebody that they have older like videos on a multimedia server, run Linux, anything's fine. But it has to work. It's meant to be simple, have fun with it. It's something you always want to do. And the key thing, it has to be in Linux. That can be a single, no, you don't have to have multiple. Any questions on the payments? And you have to come here and demo it in real time. Right? Screen so that's essentially project A. Then project B. So project A is for 5 points, and then project B is also worth 5 points. So that's the one in your group configure components. And so the word count problem we did essentially with the lectures week. For project B, you can use the following links as reference. Like these links, including some stuff that I have on my. You can look at those. They're not, you won't be able, probably, you won't be able to configure to just follow links. And this is actually real, not the end of this. I think I mentioned before. So when you're going to configure something in Linux, there's always going to be like a version of Linux that's pretty old, sloppy, like the very new version of Linux, right, that just came out. And there's one like in the middle, not full, not new. You always want to go that middle Linux distro. Reason being that obviously if you do the thing with the old one, well, it's gotta be kidding. Once that happens, repos will start giving you errors and things like that. So it's a bad idea. If you go with the new one, a lot of students want to go with the latest, that's kind of like the default. The problem is you're going to be the first one to encounter a lot of problems. So what I'm saying, you're going to be the first one to find out error. And when you look online or ask ChatGPT or whatever, you're not going to find explanations help. So you always kind of label in the middle because that one will have documentation, probably other people have encountered that problem already, and it's going to help you out. Another thing you want to make sure is when you find you're getting also provided support, right? You literally have to find some resources. And it's also really, you have to know what version of Linux you're using. And what is using, let's say, you 2004. Make sure that the explanation you find is for 2004. Because they always change a little bit. And what's going to happen is 95% of it is the same. It's going to be so little different. That's going to make the whole thing awkward. So I'm saying this is key to make your life easy. So that's part of the process. That's part of the process. Make sure find a or solve it. I mean, they just do this and figure it out. That's how I do it. My suggestion: find an explanation for this for that you're makes sense. So how the way of this course is that these tutorials provide content from all. So I suggest do single node first. So, make sure that there's some one. You can set up one VM. So set it up on one VM, make sure it works, make sure you're doing the job, and then once you've done that, you kind of have a feel for what we're spending and do both, it's more challenging, but there's at least some similarities. And then you will do this. You can use all these linked references on the project that you guys have. So I consider these types of software groups. You get free to find and and the presentations are going to be the week before finals. So that Monday, the week before finals, we're going to try to present it. Usually some students have errors or something, and they want extra. Then we have Wednesday also just in case. But it's within those 2 days, and then we just have any questions? Questions are great. All right, so now the last thing we're gonna discuss is the main topic for today. So things that are really interesting. I like it a lot, actually. I'll give you a lot of ideas. This will go over a little bit of the history of how this works. So let me